Great. Hi, beautiful souls. Welcome. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to 40 Days of Restorative Yoga, day 33. 3-3. It's a big number. Today, we are going to do a shoulder stretch. And there have not been a lot of shoulder stretches throughout the practice. We did on day 4, we did a prone shoulder stretch where the arms were underneath the body. And I'm going to list after the class today the related postures. So if you want to go back and see where all the shoulder stretches are, I'll go back and list that in the description box below after I go off here. And that's pretty much all I want to say about that. So how are you? Welcome. Prayers. Black Lives Matter. I'm listening. I'm here. And however I can support you in your practice, your restorative practice, your meditation practice, let me know. Please reach out. Thank you for those of you that have through email or through my website. It's I really feel like this part of this, I was going to say project, part of this 40-day sadhana, 40-day challenge. Challenge isn't really the right word. This isn't a challenge. This is about your journey. This is about softening your way into yoga, softening your way into your body so that you can begin to peel away layers, begin to peel away years probably of scar tissue, years of just not practicing. And so if you need someone to talk to, if you need someone to help you find an adjustment, and like I was saying, these postures can be shifted so that you can do them part of the way, or you can do them differently and receive the same benefits. I don't know what your situation is. I don't know if you are in a hospital bed. I don't know if you are in a wheelchair. I don't know if you are unable to get down to the floor. So if you reach out and there's a particular day that is resonating with you and you would like me to adjust that for you, then all you have to do is ask, okay? All you have to do is ask. And I mean that. Yesterday's card, I drew from that beautiful magical deck by Raven Fallon, the Messenger Oracle. And now we are moving from the energy of the full moon. And the moon is beginning to wane. Still very bright, still very full. But I want you to think about this next 14 days as a time where it's much like the Shavasana. And I don't want you to take a 14-day Shavasana. That wouldn't be good for you either. But it's that time of integration. So the beginning of the lunar cycle, the first 2 weeks is where we act on our intention. And then I see the second half as the time where we listen and where we turn in and where we really need to pay attention to the signs, to the messages. And yeah, so it feels just like that's an important thing to remind ourselves of. Today I'm drawing from Flowers of the Night Oracle, which is it's black, and then the flowers are illuminated, a little bit of color, mostly white. And these are all flowers that show their beauty in the dark, which is, I don't know, it really appeals to me. Not everybody is comfortable in the light. Sometimes it's too much to be in the spotlight, Yeah. Close your eyes. Let's take a breath. part of the process for me in drawing cards is this connection to breath. It's important to slow down and let go. The card that jumped out is communication. The plant is fish bone cactus. I don't know that plant. A lot of these are from Australia. I'll look up in the guidebook in a moment. And there's an owl there, so that's always a clue. But communication, yes. How can we find our truth, and how can we have the courage to speak our truth, and how can we have the courage? One of the things that has been shared with me, and I know firsthand, is that as a white woman of privilege, I have been doing my best to be courageous and to speak and to share. But a lot of people can't, for one reason or another, because of their circumstance. And so how can we share our truth if we can't voice it publicly? And how can we be an ally if we can't be an ally publicly? And I think these are all important questions to reflect on. This card is creation. Gosh, it's beautiful. It's some kind of a lily, night blooming day lily. Wow. Creation. Creation and communication. 2 C's. I'll just get you a couple of sentences. Creation and communication. Fishbone cactus is native to southern Mexico. It's an isolated species, fast-growing epiphyte with cream-colored, fragrant flowers. Time for discussions, speaking up, and ensuring that you are really heard. What needs to be said or communicated more clearly? Is your truth, your message, your meaning being fully understood? And so, the world, the macro, what is going on, the horror, the horrible things that are going on, and the protests that are, and the protests, and the effects and the results of the protests are the macro, right? And so often that is reflected in the micro. And so if that is going on for you, this communication, while it might be about being an ally, could be about something very important within you. And that's something that I often forget, that to reflect on that, the micro in the macro. The night blooming daylily is found in China and throughout Europe. Flowers are lemon yellow in color and very sweet fragrance. Fertility and the abundant growth of what you have already begun is very strongly connected with this flower. You could find new enthusiasm and favorable situations occurring, and even an inflow of resources and material wealth. Someone's birth or the news of such a wonderful occasion could be near. Creativity in all its forms, including the creation of partnerships, friendships, romantic matchings, as well as physical, artistic, and creative pursuits, are inspired under the energy of the night blooming day lily. She also has a warning here about getting carried away with ego in that regard. So yeah, so you can also look to the color of the medicine and the color of the flowers. So today, I'm just kind of trying to tie this together. Today we're doing shoulder. If you've been following along, you've heard me say that shoulders, arms, hands are extension of the heart space. Which is between the communication and the ego. Anyway, I'll have to reflect on that a bit, and I will write about it as I have been doing. If you haven't seen my posts, I'm putting them on my Instagram page as well as the community tab on YouTube. So let's get to the pose, okay? Today's posture is one that is difficult to turn into a super relaxing position just because of the nature of it. But I wanted to offer one more shoulder stretch, and there is a way. There's a couple of things that can be done to this posture. We're coming into it from cat-cow to make it a little softer. And one is for sure to place a blanket on the mat so your knees are resting on something. And here I have this blanket folded in 4. I know a lot of people are not able to spend time on their knees, and so blankets or 2 of the small soft blocks, that works as well too. And I would strongly recommend that you have, and I'm going to show you this posture from both sides. So I'm going to do it so you can see my back as well as my front. And then to have something to put underneath the shoulder if your shoulder doesn't come in contact with the floor. So that's important. I will show you from the front first, and then I'll turn around and do the back. I really do like a straight mat. You know, there's something about that. And if my camera's crooked, sorry. All right. So come onto your knees into cat, onto all fours. Toes are tucked. Your knees are underneath your hips. And your hands are a little wider than shoulder distance. Fingers are active. And in this neutral position, soften between the shoulder blades. Right? So you're not pressing up, you're allowing the upper back to kind of hammock between the shoulders. Back of the neck is long. And I just like to come through a couple rounds of cat-cow just to awaken the body. Inhale and look up towards the ceiling and just pause in the cow shape. And allow the spine to begin to settle and soften. If this is too much on your neck, just bring your head down a little. You can take your gaze up. It's really good for your eyes to stretch your eyes upward. And in this particular shape, feel the spread in your pelvis. Take a breath in the nose and then soften even more in the space between the shoulders. And then bring your awareness to your perineum, to your navel center. Look up, take a breath in, and connecting to the navel center, the perineum, shift the pelvis forward and begin to round the back, coming into cat. Allow the crown of the head to hang towards the floor. You can bring your hands in a little closer if you like, so you can really press away, chin right into the collarbones. Now draw your navel center up towards your back. I find during cat-cow, a lot of people disengage. And if we can awaken the body and be engaged during cat-cow, we can get so much more out of it. And so perhaps today you're going to focus on your navel center, or perhaps your pelvis. And then just come through a couple of rounds, mindfully shifting, inhaling, looking up. Exhale, shift the pelvis forward, scoop the pelvis forward, bring the chin into the collarbones and press away from the floor. And just cycle very slowly with the breath. Let's do a few more. And then come back to a neutral spine. Extend your legs. Stretch out your calves. If your wrists bother you, you can just simply bring the backs of your hands onto the mat. And you may have to kind of hang over your wrists, or you can begin to sit down. And the further you come back, the deeper the stretch on the wrists. And you can also do this in a standing forward fold. Big exhale breath. All right, let's set up for the shoulder stretch. So we're going to do the right shoulder first. I suggest you have something to put underneath the right shoulder on the right side of the mat, where the shoulder is going to land. So come up to all fours. You can bring your left hand in a little bit closer. And then, sorry, I'm turning away from the camera. Inhale the right arm up towards the ceiling. Press away. Oh, did you hear that? And as you exhale, allow this arm to come underneath. Now the forearm comes down. You pick up this hand and you begin to slowly make your way down to the floor. And if the floor is a long ways away and you know you're not going to get there, then come back up. Bring your pillow in. It can be whatever size you need. And then come down and rest your shoulder and perhaps your head onto that pillow. For the first few breaths, you can use this hand as a lever on the exhale and press away. So not only are you going to get a stretch on your shoulder, you're going to get a beautiful stretch in your back rib cage. If you feel safe and balanced, you can extend your left leg. And you can also use this as a bit of a lever. And I just adjusted my head. Did you see that? And so for those of you with knee issues, this might not be really comfortable. But you can close your eyes. It's a good way to work on your balance. And this hand here, the left hand, can also go overhead. And then you can deepen the stretch in the back body. Or just leave the hand here. And if you don't like that, just bend the knee and bring it back down. But this actually feels really good. So you wouldn't stay here as long as a posture where you are completely supported, because there's a lot of movement going on here. This is one of those postures that gets into a lot of things at the same time. And if you have just a few moments to come onto all fours and do a couple rounds of cat-cow and something like this, it can feel pretty sweet. And I will review the prone stretch when we're done. And the other shoulder stretches. So to come out of this, you're going to bring that knee down. If you raise the leg, just bring this arm into a position so you can lift your body, and then very slowly unweave. And I like to come back to that neutral position and allow the back to settle. And because this is a restorative practice, let's come down to our bellies and just take a breath. Rest your forehead on the backs of your hands, toes together, heels wide. And just observe the difference that you feel, the sensations that you feel in the right side of the body that aren't in the left side of the body. It just, in a few moments, it's so easy to begin to stir the prana and awaken parts of the body by doing seemingly very little. And then bring your hands back underneath your shoulders, tuck your toes, and you can come up, half cat. You can come back to a child's pose if you like for a few breaths. And then we'll set up for the other side. So this time you want to have your cushion on the left side. And you might have something, you might need nothing. You might have something quite a bit higher. So bring the right hand into the center of the mat, or a little bit further over to the right. And then inhale the left arm up to the ceiling. Take a big breath in. Look up towards your left thumb. And then exhale. Weave this arm underneath. Walk the right hand over. And then begin to come down. Right? You can bring the cushion in and the shoulder onto the cushion if needed, and onto the head. Some of you might not need that, and you just come straight down onto the floor. And then I'm going to move my right hand over and slide the left arm through a little bit further. And then just breathe. Breathe into the back ribs. And the other part that I added was to extend. So this side we're going to extend the right leg and use that as a bit of a lever just to deepen the stretch and the weight onto the left shoulder. And this is actually a really fun posture. There's all kinds of crazy things you can do. You can also walk the right arm overhead if you like. Press in, open up the front of the chest a bit. That back leg can even go up to the ceiling. But this is a restorative practice, so just focus on your breath. Let's take 3 more deep breaths. And of course, if you want to stay longer, stay longer. Bring the right hand in closer. Bring the right knee to the floor. And then lift the body weight up off the floor. Come back to a neutral position. Come back to all fours. And then I'm going to turn around because my blocks are on the other side. For those of you that missed day 4, I just want to go over this because this is a very similar posture. Come right down to a prone position. You can stack your hands, rest your forehead on the mat, and just take a moment to integrate. So just come up to your forearms. I just wanted to mention this because you might want to weave these two postures together. So on day 4, we did the shoelace for the upper body. And I have a block here because this goes underneath the forehead once you get set up in the posture. So I encourage you to go back and look at the video for day 4. But just as a reminder, this is the one where we walked the hands farther and farther apart, rolling side to side. For me, I like to keep the palms up. And then you walk the hip bones up, 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 and come onto the pits of your elbows and then rest the head. So what I'm suggesting is that if you were to do today's shoulder stretch and then go to the stretch for day 4, and because I know a lot of people really have issues here, that would be a really nice combination. And then come into a gentle back bend because you want to open up the front, because in both these postures, you're moving in this direction, right? So then you want to finish off with a nice open back bend. Come down into Shavasana. Lie down on your back. Cover yourself up with a blanket. And just take a moment to integrate. And sometimes by opening the heart, which is part of what we're doing with shoulder stretches, is that it gives us courage to speak. And we don't always awaken the chakras in sequential order, but there definitely is something to the work with the shoulders and the back bending in that. Was it yesterday we did that one, and it was just felt so beautiful on the throat chakra. So as you're moving through these postures and really marinating in them for extended periods of time, do close your eyes and really start to feel what is being illuminated inside of you, because these are really, really powerful opportunities to start to move some energy that's been lingering for an extended period of time. So thank you for joining me today, and let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Stay well. Namaste.